Welcome to A Fine Podcast with Amanda and
Joseph. Yeah, welcome back again, or for the first time.
depending on who you are.
Yes, we are here today and gathered to discuss
We are all gathered here today.
Love is Blind UK Season 2, Episodes 1 through 4.
That's right. The pods and a little sprinkle of the trips.
Yes, the riveting, exhilarating pod talk.
Pod talking. What do you think about pod talking for 4 episodes?
It's a lot. it's a lot of wall talking and discussions.
It could have been way more like the last US season.
Yes, that's true. At least it was 4 this time. 6 was a lot. 6 was a lot.
6. I remember you just were going mentally crazy when there were 6 episodes of pod talking. You were just like, when is it going to end? When is it going to end? This is crazy.
Yeah. I think especially being my first season into it was quite a bit to go over.
It was almost like a form of torture.
Well, I guess first, going through it, because I guess I watched the other one previously to that one, but as live as it was happening. But no, it was still long, but it was still, but yeah, 4 is, I think, a good limit for things.
What would you think if they cut it down to 2?
That'd be excellent. But 4 is fine.
Well, so far, what are your thoughts about the UK?
I mean, it's very similar to the US. Doesn't seem like there's that much different of a flow or cultural difference or things like that. So, like, we watched a little bit of the Japan one time. I think we only watched like 2 episodes of it, but I don't know, that one I feel like could kind of tell things were a little bit different.
Well, they also didn't speak English and we were reading the subtitles.
Yeah, I mean, it was dubbed, but that felt like kind of different. Where this one, I really don't feel like I'm watching like the UK version. I mean, sure, I guess the accents, but there's really not much that's making me think, oh, I'm watching UK versus the US. So,
Well, one of the differences, the hosts, let's talk about them. So they're a couple just like Nick and Vanessa are, Matt and Emma Lewis. What'd you think?
yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess we don't get good old Nick anymore, but
Well, we've been seeing him a lot on Perfect Match, so we're getting our Nick fix.
I don't know about that, but they should just make him do every one of them.
Yeah, they should have flown him out to the UK to do this season.
Yeah, I mean, they seem nice so far. I don't know, the outfit where he had like the A shirt with the suit jacket was kind of strange to me, but otherwise, yeah, they seem fine.
Other than that outfit.
I mean, I don't know, they're really not involved that much. I mean, they show up like the intro and then, you know, like almost like the introductory to everything, the pods, the vacation,
Just whenever something's like about to happen or change, yeah,
right.
They come in and announce
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, they're not like actively involved in.
They do their little thing at the beginning where they hype up the men or the women and ask them some questions about why they're here.
Yeah, it's not even like they come in midway of the pods and saying like, "Hey, how's everything going and what's going on?" And you know, let's kind of get everybody's experience of what's going on or whatever. But
They do that at the reunion, I guess. And
yeah.
so
I don't know, it's almost just like, are hosts even like needed for this?
I guess they make like good transitional place markers like, hey, everybody's about to go on their trip and will they make it? Will they not? Will this trip show secrets about everybody?
Yeah, but even like with the circle, right? The host,
It's just a voice and not
right.
someone actually physically there.
Yeah, and she's actually not even. I mean, she was there. What I think the reunion in the first season, maybe the second season, and then now it's. I don't think she's even in the reunion anymore. So it's like it's literally just a narration voice the entire time.
Could be replaced with AI.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this whole thing could, but no, I mean,
This whole thing could.
Yeah.
Like one AI voice is talking to another AI voice.
Yeah, see if AI can fall in love together.
We send AI to Greece for a
Yeah,
vacation.
Yeah, the virtual Greece.
Virtual Greece. Wow.
But anyway, no, I mean it's fine. But it's just they're so minimal in this. Like it's just very. I don't know. Do you really need them?
They bring like that warm, homey feel. They're introducing UK to us, US folk.
Yeah, for the first 5 seconds that they get.
Yeah, but those are some great 5 seconds.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't think AI could replace that, or AI could replace Matt's questionable wardrobe choice.
Yes, that's true.
Okay, so let's go right into the couples. So first we have Ashley and Billy. Ashley is an air hostess.
She's a cabin crew.
Yeah, they kept like calling her cabin crew, but she's really an air hostess. And he hates when I mention air hostess because of the X Factor air hostess
Yes.
bad audition
Right.
that we love to watch. Check it out on YouTube.
You like to watch.
We love to watch it. Sing the song really quick. It's Air Hostess by Busted.
Yeah. We already did this last episode.
Okay, well, just sing it so they can have a quick little.
Yeah. Air hostess. I like the way you dress.
Yeah.
Yeah. The rest is you need to
Go to
watch it.
YouTube.
Yeah.
What a great song.
Yeah.
And a great young lad that sung that song.
Yeah.
He showed up in his bathing suit for the audition.
Yes.
So, Ashley, she's an air hostess. And this comes up in their conversations because there's questions from Billy on whether or not she's going to be around or how difficult it would be to be in a relationship with somebody who is taking a lot of flights.
Well, he mentioned too that he dated a
He
girl
dated
previously, the cabin crew.
No. No.
An air hostess.
Yes.
So
An air hostess. He liked the way she dressed.
All right. So he had kind of reserves about that because, I think it's a different lifestyle, right? I mean, you're always traveling a lot. And so he doesn't really want to be up for that again, I don't think so. But I think she did mention where things were kind of, they got serious enough that she would find a new job and find something else to do versus doing that. So.
Yeah, I think that's how they resolved everything. He just said, "Are you open to changing things in the future?" And she said, "Oh, well, I do have options where I could actually be on the ground and have a normal 9 to 5. So I would definitely be open to exploring those options more in the future." And they both connected on family life and how important that would be to them too. So I think as that gets closer to coming to fruition, she would be more apt to looking for those opportunities. Not staying an air hostess forever.
Right. Yes.
So Billy is in the Army and she was in the Army too. So they bond over that pretty quickly. They both have dogs too, and they both love their dogs. And he was married 5 years ago and they fell out of love.
Yeah. So he's already been married. She is not, but so he's trying to be a little more serious about things, I think, and try to find someone that he doesn't want to have to go through that again and find his forever person.
Right. Forever person.
Yeah, and hopefully not end it like last time.
I wonder if that was an air hostess. If that was one of the air hostess women that he dated. That would definitely explain why he's so scared then. Because that could be a big reason why it didn't work out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he mentions he dated. I would have.
He said a few air hostesses.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Oh wait, what's the plural of air hostess?
Hosti.
Air hosti.
No, it's hostesses, I would think.
Wait, say the full thing.
Air hostesses.
Air hosti.
Hostesses. Okay, this is ridiculous.
Okay, so something cool about Billy was that he had a tattoo with Michael Bublé lyrics. What do you think about his Michael Bublé tattoo? It's lyrics to "I Just Haven't Met You Yet," the music notes.
Yeah, I don't know. This was like a little.
It's kind of cheesy, but it is cool, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. The way it's a little strange to me. Well, especially because it's like I think he was gonna
put his wife's name
right,
underneath.
but when he found the person, he was gonna like cross that out and then put her name, I think, underneath of it or something. That like you, but I don't know. This was a little strange, I guess, but
that's our Michael Bublé lover.
It's a great song, but to try to turn it into the way he did,
a big tattoo moment.
Yeah.
So we hear that he likes being a little spoon at night, but not in the morning.
Yeah. I don't know what that was about, I guess. I don't know.
All right, we're finding out some things about Billy too. Later on in the trip, we find out that he shaves his legs regularly.
Well, because of an injury, but now it's a hamstring, but now it's become this normal routine thing. So,
and she's like, "Oh, your legs are so smooth, Billy."
Yeah, that's a different take on things.
So a different take on things. So going back to their family, we learned that Ashley's mom and dad split up when she was 16 and she was the oldest child for her family, and she had to start providing support for her mom and sisters, and she started paying the bills in her house. And now she wants someone to look after her the same way she looked after her family. So that's tough.
Yeah, I mean, she clearly was put in a position where she kind of had to, I'd say, grow up faster than some people and, kind of take leadership at an earlier age. But I think it shows that at least she's already knows how to do those things.
She's in a good mindset.
Yeah.
A mature mindset.
She's disciplined, which I think is good for them.
But we also learn about Billy's family too. He's very close with his father and he gets emotional talking about him, and he says he had a few injuries over the years and now he's on the mend. So that's good to hear. And he said that family is everything to him.
Yeah, they're both family oriented, and yeah, I mean, they lined up on a lot of things. I mean, I feel like they're very strong overall. There really wasn't a lot of things that they had disagreements on or didn't see eye to eye on with. So
right, it seemed like they connected very early on. We didn't see them with anybody else having conversations. So
yeah, I mean, I guess enough to not be a serious, entertaining.
Right.
But what's interesting to me too is this seems to be the formula with the show is they've always shown it's always, or maybe not, but I don't know. I think the last ones that I've watched, I guess the last two, but it was always the first couple they show that matches is the ones that they didn't have any other connections. Well, I guess at least edited. They don't show that, but
Yeah, it's always like a really strong couple.
because the first one for last one was Monica and I don't remember his name now.
Joey,
Joey. I was gonna say Jeff.
Jeff. Your brother.
Yeah. But I think they said that they had Joey was talking to somebody else, but they only showed that. But
It was Joey and Sarah talking,
during the
and they completely cut it out. And I think it was
Yeah.
Monica and Ben actually talking, and then they cut it out, and they never showed the
yeah,
other
so
side
they
of
showed
it.
them
Yeah.
that they were just looked like they were just exclusive basically, and then you saw that kind of too with the season before that was Garrett and Taylor. So it seems like they always show this as the first. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I don't know.
Well, that's what made me think like Joey and Monica, man, they're probably going to go for the long run because we got teased into thinking that at the beginning.
Yeah, they kind of gave more of this illusion of that.
Remember, we thought like, wow, this couple's definitely going to make it at the beginning.
Yeah.
So I hope it's not another one of those things with Ashley and Billy.
Yeah.
But they seem more like a Garrett and Taylor situation to me.
Yeah, I feel they're a lot more aligned with things, and I mean, it's earlier to tell, but things do feel more Garrett and Taylorish
Yeah,
to me here.
I would
And
think so.
I would say they're probably the strongest so far, if I had to pick one.
So they have a little date in the pods where they're wearing pink cowboy hats and dancing. And Ashley got Billy a love heart thimble, and he's very touched and he starts crying about it. And when he's touched and crying, he has a white feathered mustache glued to him, which makes it hard to take him seriously here.
Yeah, well, the angle of the camera was just
It was like in his nose, and then you could see like the mustache looking ridiculous.
yeah, and you only saw the one side of it. You didn't even see. So at first, it was just looked like a feather stuck to his. I don't know, having this nice moment, and then he just looks ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
It was just the angle that they caught it. It was just
Weird.
strange.
Yeah, that was weird. So he tells her he loves her, and she says she loves him too. And he says he hasn't said this in a really long time, since he was married. And then he proposes, and she says yes. And then it's time for the first reveal. He twirls her, he gets down on a knee. He's left speechless because he loves her smile. And she thinks he's wonderful and a good kisser. And they both say that they love each other again.
Yeah, I mean, I was shocked by that. I felt like that was pretty early to go into love.
A lot of
but
I love yous so far.
yeah, I mean, I think there's all but one. I think that before or right at when they first saw each other, they all did
Yep.
love. So
Yep.
I don't know. I didn't think we have seen that as much with the other ones, but I don't know. That was kind of just interesting to me to already throw that out there.
Yeah,
So
you were
early
like, how
on.
can they already love each other? And then I said, well, they're engaged.
Yeah.
But it is a unique experience knowing someone for days,
Yeah. Yeah.
weeks, a couple weeks. So,
But yeah, nonetheless, I mean, and their interactions with each other felt a little more natural. They didn't seem as awkward as some of the others with their first interaction. So
right.
they seemed very genuine with things, and it felt pretty natural. So, no, yeah, I mean, I'd say they're one of the top contenders so far.
Yeah, all looks good with them so far. And she enjoys his hairless legs.
Yeah. So it's one taste of things, I guess.
Okay, let's go into Kieran. And we see Kieran torn between two women at first. He talks to Sophie first, and then he talks to Megan next. So let's dive into Sophie and Kieran. So we learn that Sophie treats her first dates like interviews, and she starts asking everybody that she's talking to for their best dad joke. What do you think about this segment?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's a good, I don't know, Well, because she said she treats things more like an interview, and I guess it really was kind of interview like with the first dates with everyone.
What'd you think about the dad
But
jokes?
I don't know. Most of them were. I guess they were. Some of them were
Do you remember any of them?
the. Yeah, why did skeleton cross the road to get to the body shop? The body shop.
The body shop.
But
What was the one about like size or something?
size.
Yeah, what was the second one we were laughing at? We had to keep rewinding.
I thought because we couldn't hear it.
Yeah, we couldn't hear it too, but
Yeah, I mean they were. I mean they felt very dad-like. I mean they were good, but she didn't laugh at any of them, so I don't think any of them really were up to her standard. I don't know what her standard would be for it, but
the other one was an old woman asked me to check her balance, so I pushed her over.
yes, yeah, actually that one was I forgot.
That
about
was
that.
my favorite
Yeah.
one. I like
Yeah,
that one.
that one was actually pretty good. I forgot about that one.
Had to go digging deep for that one.
Yeah.
Someone took a screenshot of it. So, yeah, I like that she asked people this, and then some men just had this on the fly.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fun little kind of icebreaker question to get things going on a date. So, yeah.
Do you have a dad joke?
The only thing that comes to mind is, have you seen butter fly?
I don't get it.
Have you seen a butterfly? But butterfly, like the condiment.
Wow.
I don't know. It's the only thing offhand that I have.
Good one. Okay, so we learned that Kieran is the entrepreneur gaming industry guy, which it would be cool to hear a little bit more about that. And Sophie is the renewable energy place manager.
Yeah, so they're kind of in different fields, but
Their fields have nothing to do with each other.
I don't know. They're very different. I don't think she was very big though either. That he was kind of in the
Just about to
gaming.
say that. Or she looked upset when he said he games with his brother.
Yeah, because that's the way they kind of stay connected. And then, yeah, she was she took the whole thing kind of very, I don't know, very serious with everything. I mean, nobody seemed to really, I don't know, sway her that much. I mean, Kieran and her had that little bit of a connection, but even then, it didn't feel like she was, swept under her feet about him. So,
Well, he kept trying to ask her questions like things that have to do with, physical touch. And then she was just very taken aback and reserved and didn't feel like answering.
yeah, I mean, she didn't open up much, and she had mentioned, that's just how she is. She's been very quiet with things, and so getting her to open up with things is challenging, or it's going to take a while. And this show may not be the best place then, because you kind of have to do that pretty quickly.
Yes. And he says it seems like he's always asking her to open up and she just doesn't. And he says there's probably a lot more to explore before he can fall in love. And he says the door is creaking open with her, but not fully open. And then she starts questioning, is she sabotaging herself here by not opening herself up more? Well, she starts to open up, and then she talks about how her mom left the family, and she has a rocky relationship with her mom, which made her have a closer relationship with her dad. And she says her mom left for a new partner, and her new partner seemed to be more important to her than her own daughter. And that has made love life tough for her going forward. So it just took her a little while to open up because of this trauma that's happened to her. And then he says, thank you so much for opening up. And then that's when we hear that Kieran got his other connection, Megan, a gift. And Sophie is really upset about this.
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like the majority of these, so-called triangles that get formed, it always seems to be one of them is more reserved and the other's just kind of more outright outgoing and kind of laying everything on the table. But the person trying to decide between the two, because I almost wonder, I guess I didn't really get it with him. I got it more with Katisha's triangle, but being more drawn, I guess, to like the more reserved person. But it's just, because of the time factor, they kind of just have to hurry up and make a decision, and they're going to go with the person who's more outgoing and is laying out, what they're feeling on the table, so they have a better understanding of where they are with things. I don't know if I really got this with him or not. I thought maybe a little bit, but I don't know. I mean, he was very into Megan, and obviously the gift kind of steered him in that direction. But
His choice to give her a gift before breaking things off with Sophie steered him in that direction.
well, that was very weird. I mean, I really don't understand what was the intention of that.
He should have waited until he broke things off if Sophie was not the one to.
Yeah,
Give a
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see what was going through his head at that point, because
I think he just felt really strongly about her. Then he just went for it, but he
I guess
probably
he just
should've-
forgot. I don't know.
He forgot he was talking to another woman. But what kind of stinks too about Sophie is she finally did open up, and then it was way too late, and she didn't know it was too late, and then she shares all this personal information with him for nothing.
Yeah, which I think is why unless you think you're just going to find someone who's just going to help you naturally open up. But, this show just doesn't really encourage slow cultivating relationships. You pretty much have to go in guns blazing with this thing to really make it happen. These slow burn things don't really.
Well, in Katisha's case, the opposite worked out. The slower connection
I guess
started speeding up at the end, and then she thought, okay, well, thanks so much for diving in now.
Yeah, and I think so. I guess I kind of take back what I was saying earlier, because I do think she already had more of a connection with Javin and wanted that from the get go, but with him holding back, that made her hesitant about things until he finally, opened up with things, and then she was ready to go forward.
Yeah, which we'll talk about that. But
If I guess Kieran really never gave Sophie the chance for that, because he already gave the gift to Megan, which then really shut things off. Because it did seem, maybe Sophie was starting to realize that she's going to have to talk more and open up, and if things are going to go forward. But Kieran kind of already jumped the gun with giving the gift to Megan. But I think, too, he probably did really just feel stronger towards her. Maybe if Sophie had opened up earlier, maybe things could have been different. But, I mean,
yeah, I just think it probably should have ended with Sophie a little bit quicker than.
Yeah.
But so Sophie overhears about this gift. She's upset. She doesn't want to be anybody's second place. So she meets with Kieran and tells him it was disrespectful to give Megan a gift. And he defends himself, says it's an experiment that he's figuring out. But then he apologizes to her. And then she stands up for herself and walks out.
Yeah.
The
She
end.
kind of gives the little Jess soliloquy.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't know what you're missing out.
Yeah. And the Mason Meg. It's kind of similar to that situation. Mason, Madison, and Meg. When Meg says, I'm no one's second place.
Yeah. That didn't jump to my mind. I guess I just remember the whole iconic,
The EpiPen.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
To me, that just felt more like that with how she was kind of.
Did she say anything like, you don't know what you missed out on?
Well, she just said, I'm definitely a catch, and I
She said it in like a
deserve to be.
minor way.
Yeah, it wasn't as aggressive, but there were still some there.
Let's dive into Megan and Kieran. So Megan works on cruise ships and she dances. And Kieran says he loves dancing and he has liquid hips.
Yes.
Hips made of liquid.
They just fall right off. I don't know. I don't know what that.
They pour right out.
Yeah. Maybe I'd want more like gelatinous hips. Maybe that might be.
Yeah, there you go.
Have a little structure to it, but I'm still pretty.
Like in a solid state.
Yeah. But I can still
Jiggle.
Yeah. Jiggle and wiggle.
So they both bond over possibly adopting kids in the future. They bond over being sweaty, hot people. They both say they get hot easily. And then she writes slippery next to his name in the notebook.
Yeah, she wanted to nickname him that.
I would have written liquid.
Yeah, just water.
He's water.
H2O.
Yeah, there you go. So we learn his parents got divorced when he was 3. His mom was not a typical mother to him, and this has made him needy, and he wants his wife to be a caring mother. And then we learned her parents broke up when she was born, and her father wasn't in her life. But then she saw her father when she was an adult at age 17 when she was serving in a bar. He came back and sent her a card after. So they both have some traumatic things that have happened with their parents.
Yeah, it was interesting because I think a lot of the people had not smooth upbringings. Like a lot of the different people always had different things, but yeah, it was kind of commonplace here.
Yeah. So Kieran gave her a Japanese ornament to bring good fortune, and that was the gift. The infamous gift.
That sealed the deal with Sophie.
Yeah. And then she talks about how Sophie was upset, and he says he just wants to do the rest of the journey with her, Megan. And she's happy about that. So she also recites a poem that she wrote for him. And then he says he loves her. And he proposes and he doesn't kneel when he does it.
Yeah, I at least respected this about him.
Why?
Because I just think it's just weird where you're kneeling in front of a wall asking this question.
So you'd rather kneel for the first time in person.
Yeah, which he did, and I thought that was
right.
great.
Well, yeah,
when
I
they
did
saw
like
each
that.
other, and then he's like, "Now I'm gonna kneel because."
I did like that. Yeah, that's true.
Because it's supposed to be this, this big once moment that you have, and why am I gonna do it once in front of a wall and then do it again in person?
Yeah, one time would be special.
Yeah,
that's true.
Not this double thing they kind of do.
Kneel to a wall.
Which
kneel
too,
to a wall.
I was saying I'd much rather say like, would you like to meet me at, with the door openings or whatever, something more alluding to that versus like even asking like the will you marry me question through the wall.
And then I told you they probably are forced.
Yeah, the producers wouldn't. Yeah, never allow that.
Yeah,
because I just think that's even too like that should happen when they see each other. That shouldn't be like something they have to say through the wall. I don't know, just something else that alludes that like, hey, we're picking each other. We're moving on. But
I think that's part of the thrill factor for the producers to have. Like you
yeah.
have to have this crazy weird moment where you're proposing and you can't see them.
Yeah.
You'd be kicked off the show.
Yeah, but I don't know.
They wouldn't air your segment.
Great.
So they had interesting fashion choices as well. She was wearing this, what looked to be like a suit jacket or like a blazer with a sports bra underneath. And that was it. And he was wearing some white sneakers with a suit jacket and a t-shirt.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, with what Megan was wearing, which is that I have not seen before. I don't know. There's just so much of the, I mean, Kieran's was, compared to some of them, like one of the best. I mean, he was second best, I guess. But I don't know. Everyone obviously has their taste. I'm more of a classic guy, I guess. But because I mean, I guess if you're gonna do it, then I guess a t-shirt's the best versus like an A shirt, or I think even what Patrick had something that wasn't. I forget what it was now. I think it was an A shirt, but I don't know. The sneakers thing is like one of these. Clearly, it's very trendy right now. It's a big thing, but to be having like a nice suit and then just like sneakers to top it off at the end, just to me, just totally kills the.
Maybe they want to go for a jog.
You can jog in shoes. I mean, you see the CIA or the Secret Service, or even in movies and stuff, right? They're always wearing dress shoes in a suit, doing crazy James Bond, and
maybe their feet are killing them.
Yeah, but hey, I look good though. I mean, isn't that the whole point of like heels for women? Your feet are in pain, but they look great.
I guess maybe now we're focusing on like comfort. That's why she was just wearing a sports bra and then she just threw on a suit jacket on top of it.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it'd be the same for like the women, right? If you're in like this nice evening gown and then you have sneakers.
I would totally want to do that because comfort over everything. I would love it.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I get it. A lot of people, it's in, it's hot, it's trendy, it's the thing, but I don't know. I can't get behind it. I have to draw the line somewhere.
So they both seem to like each other a lot at the big reveal. And he likes that she's a redhead. And she said that he is fantastic and she's falling for him. And he's crazy about her.
Yeah. So I think their interaction was, it was pretty well too. They liked each other. Well, I guess the other thing too with all the couples was you didn't see any that were like, wow, I can't get behind them. They don't look that great, or I'm really not attracted to their physical.
Genuinely
appearance.
seemed to like each other at the meetup.
Yeah, which I think that was kind of different or surprising to see, because not even the one couple where I think previous you've always had at least one that was like, oh, he's
he's a little
he
shorter
or she
than
could
I
have been a little bit
expected.
better. Yeah, right. Like there's just something, but yeah, I mean they all seem to like each other, and then they meshed well. I think their interaction was great. They didn't really seem awkward or having to force talk during their
right.
I mean, you get a lot of the same, right? Because I guess it is the first time, and it's like this person you so-called love now, and having your first conversation.
Oh, they're
in
love.
This.
They are in love.
But no, I mean, all in all, I mean, I think they seem okay so far.
Want to move on to a couple that's not okay?
Sure.
Patrick and Anu.
Yeah. One of these ones they follow that, I guess, because it was significant, I guess.
I guess the significant part of this was he's crazy. So they thought, let's follow this guy.
That's true. Because I wonder how many of them, like any of the other ones who didn't get aired at all, probably maybe got as far with somebody as
Patrick did.
They did.
Yeah.
But it was just boring. They were like, oh, this will never fly. But this guy talking about his spleen and trusting his spleen. Like,
okay, what does this mean? What does it mean? We hear that she's a singer, which is fun and exciting. And that was really cool. But not as unique as Patrick, because he is in human design for a living.
I think he was just trying to he's a life coach, but he doesn't want to follow the norm and just say, I'm a life coach, right? He's coming with all along this, I'm a human design coach.
Yes, and he says he trusts his splenic instinct.
Yeah.
And how did Anu not go running for the hills when she heard this? I don't understand why she stayed so long and entertained this.
Yeah, I don't, because they didn't seem well for each other at all. If they matched, I didn't think it would ever work out.
Well, some things at the beginning like led you to believe that things might be good. He said he has a Jamaican mom and a Nigerian dad, a strict dad and a free flowing mom. And then we learn Anu is Nigerian, and Patrick knew that because of her name, and her mom was an immigrant. And then Patrick also spent a year in Nigeria. So they had like a couple things to talk about there.
I mean, they had some things, but I think on a deep level, they just really had no common ground, really. I think it was more of this kind of frivolous thing that they had going, but there was nothing deeply rooted. And then you did kind of see it, the more dates they had, it kind of, I feel like it started off on a high, but then it just kind of really tapered off and then just was.
I'm on a high right now.
But because then you had the second or third date where they had disagreements. And
so he asks her, what if your family rejects me? And she says, well, she would likely go with what her mom thinks since her mom's so important to her. And he's really offended at this. And he says, I wouldn't care what my family says because I didn't live for myself for 30 years. And now I'm in human design and I live by my spleen.
Yeah, so there was like the first, I think, big disagreement that they had. And
then he says, my spleen is silent now because they didn't agree.
Right, because they kind of had, I don't know, the editing makes it look like there was this kind of more awkward pause between them.
Which, when is your spleen not silent? Do you hear it? Is that your spleen right now?
I mean, I feel like he's taking the, like the trust your gut kind of feeling, but he's just rebranding it into
he's like, most people trust their
spleen
guts.
Thing.
I trust my spleen.
I feel like it's just this rebranding because that's just what he's doing for
Could you just
his
call
personal
out
self.
Anything in your body and say you trust it?
Sure,
like
yeah.
I go by my kidney, my liver, my lung.
I mean, maybe he seriously thinks it's his spleen, but to me, it just feels like it's more of this. He's just trying to brand himself.
How would he seriously think it's his spleen? How?
I don't know. I guess because it's just a funny sounding organ that we have. And
we did learn that she's a backup singer for Rod Stewart, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Which that was funny because that always reminded me of like the, when as a 90s kid, you wake up at 3 a.m. or something and there's like a TV ad and it's like the.
She could have been one of those people in the background.
Have I told you lately that I love you?
Yeah.
The Rod Stewart song.
Yeah.
That could have been her.
Yeah, she may have been in the background of one of those ads.
Yeah.
Then they go on a date again after his spleen is very silent, and he creates the spa day for her, and they put on these little under the eye masks things, and he says, today is a new day. And then he starts interviewing her and says, what value can you bring to me and my spleen? And she says, well, I can only just be myself.
Well, this was a weird this was like a weird interaction too, because she asked it and he gave a lot of great things, right? You make me laugh. We have fun together. I feel happy with you and like all these different things. And then he asked her and then she just said, I bring myself. But that's basically it.
I didn't think she felt comfortable with him anymore at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like that was where like it really showed. And I think that's probably where for him it must have like turned him off the whole thing.
Well, I think this part. Well, I don't think yet, because then he says, well, if I'm going to trust my spleen, a proposal's coming in the future. And then she says, oh, not sure, or something with her mouth closed. And she didn't seem as into it as he did here.
Yeah. This is where I think it just really started breaking down altogether, because it just.
And then he says, will you sing something for me? This is where it really broke down.
And then she said no there.
And she says, maybe. And he goes, well, why can't you sing it right now? And there's like a lot of pressure for her to just randomly sing a random song just because she's a professional singer.
Yeah.
That was a lot of pressure. But
well, she could have at least said like, oh, well, I'd rather,
how about our
come
next
up with
date?
something.
Yeah,
or,
I'll come up with something special for you on our next date.
Yeah, versus just, I don't know, just the, kind of clamming up and saying, no, not really. Like, I don't know. Like, that at least just doesn't seem like you're interested at all in me or something at that point.
Well,
Versus like saying,
yeah.
oh, like, I'd rather think of something, come up with something better versus just on the spot with something. But I don't know. That could have at least told me, hey, you're more like serious about coming, or you're still showing interest, but not just, just a flat out no. It just sounds. I think she must have started to like, because she kept talking later. She's ready to get married and all these things. So I don't know if it was her just kind of clamming up and getting nervous because now it's like someone's potentially getting to that idea of proposing to you, and she was starting to just put up walls or something. But because I guess she at least thought about that, I guess, because then right the next date she comes up with this song. She's ready to, I guess, really tell her feelings and be more open about things.
This is where it gets really sad.
But then
she says, I wrote a cheeky song for you. Would you like me to sing it? And then it's like crickets, which is so awkward for her. She's like, oh.
Yeah, which then at that point, oh, clearly something's going on.
And then he says, well, I just want to know. I asked for you to sing to me earlier, and you didn't. Why not? Which is really weird. And she said, well, I just wanted this to be special. So I wrote you a special song.
Yeah, if she had said that, I think, in the day before, probably wouldn't have been here. But regardless,
That's
I think
true,
this was good because I don't think they meshed well at all. I think this was a very superficial thing. It never would have worked. So
Yeah,
I think this
so
was
too.
good that this happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just shocked to see how invested she was in him when he was acting like a lunatic. But yeah.
Yeah.
So he says, please, please don't sing me the song. And you shouldn't sing it for someone undeserving of the song because we're breaking up and I'm breaking up with you. And he says, I just have to follow my spleen. I have to be true to myself. And his spleen did not say she was the one. So he thinks they both didn't completely open up also, which has held them back. But if the spleen says it, it must be true. And the spleen said to break up. And she's really upset about this.
Yeah.
How many times do you think we said spleen in this episode so far?
A lot. Almost as much as air hostess.
Air hostess. Spleen hostess.
But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting, I guess, to see if he ever gets someone. But
if he ever gets someone. Unless this is all just like a fake act and he really doesn't believe this.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's just doing it for
TV.
Yeah, try to get.
He's an actor.
He is a coach, so he's trying to get some new clients. Maybe I don't know. But then he gets back to the guys, and everyone's asking like, "Oh, what happened?" And he was like, "Oh, I think she was thinking of a proposal, but it didn't happen." So.
The spleen said no.
Yeah.
And that was the end of them.
Yeah. And they ended. I don't know. Like I said, I guess because this one was probably the kind of the wackiest conversations, I guess, between them all, which is why they kept it. But
yeah,
they were a no-go.
I think the whole spleen thing was really why they kept it. They're like, this is the oddest thing we've ever heard before.
Yeah.
So next we have Sorover and Cal.
Yeah. Theirs is interesting because of the cultural differences. It'll be interesting to see how theirs plays out. I think they'll probably have a lot of issues going into the family meetings, if I had to guess.
Which we saw a little hint of that.
Yeah, they threw a little bit in the preview there, but.
So we learn Cal is a gym co-owner and she is a medical company co-owner. So they have co-ownership in common.
Yeah.
And they all have siblings that are married with kids and they both want that for themselves. And they seem to connect a lot off the bat. And they had a lot of good back and forth with each other. And then we said he looks like the host's twin.
Yeah, I felt like did have quite a bit of a resemblance to him.
Yes. But we learned that his brother was shot in Afghanistan and he went to rehab and he got clean. He got married and he turned his life around. So we learned a little bit about his family. And she liked that he got emotional about his family. And her parents divorced 8 years ago and she misses having all family get togethers around the holidays, especially Christmas. And she misses playing board games with her family. So she wants a family of her own. So they both have divorced parents. And they both got divorced at age 18 when they were age 18. So a lot of divorce happening.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, overall, they kind of meshed well. They had a lot of similarities, common things. It was, I mean, it was probably like what, I think the third date or something when they finally kind of brought up that she's Indian, he's got Pakistani in him.
So he's half Pakistan, half English, and she's Indian. And then they have this Romeo Juliet thing going on, like you said,
right?
When we were watching it.
Yeah.
Because historically, there's been a conflict between India and Pakistan. But they talk about this a lot, and it seems to be okay. They say that their families just want the best for them, and they want them to be happy, so they think they can work through these things together. And it shouldn't matter.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
But he proposes. She says yes. They have the big reveal. He gets down on a knee, and they really like each other. But then we see some conflict start to happen when they go on the trip. And first, he's wearing some pretty short shorts to the pool. I made note of that. We talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had the shortest shorts of all the men there. But then the conflict that they're hyping up quite a bit to in the previews going forward is centered around she's not his usual type. So he says he usually dates white, blonde-haired women.
British.
Women. Yeah.
Well, because they have, so Barda comes up when they first see him. He mentions in a little talking head that, this was this would be the normal type that I go for. So,
and then the producers make sure to put Barda and Sarover together in the little reunion that they have with the couples on the trip.
Right. Well, he was sitting next to Barda, and then they have her, Sarova, kind of
to further enhance the conflict.
Right. Have to sit in between them I don't know. They're. I don't know. I can't imagine that there would actually be, anything between them being on like a multiple relationship thing. I think it'd be different if, if it was like a perfect match scenario where Bart is coming in and she's trying to, match with him or something to that effect. But being that they're both in relationships, like I can't really imagine there's going to be some like weird thing. But there could be, I guess, maybe some insecurities from Sarover going forward with it or something. But I don't know if there's some fight between them. She may try to do some comparisons or something. But
yeah, she may, because she's already started opening up about it a little bit to Ashley at the pool when they're talking. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. But they don't even have him and Barda. That looks like they even have any like crazy conversation or anything.
Yeah, I really don't think the conflict would be over her. I think it would just be, well, then maybe you don't like me because I'm not usually what you'd go after.
Yeah, it's going to be something
generic
more to that effect versus them actually, Sal and Barda, having some type of connection.
Yeah. Sal?
Or Cal, sorry.
Okay, next let's talk about Javin and Katisha. And then we'll talk about Katisha and Demila. Sad.
Yeah. Well, this is why too I don't understand the previews. The previews give away so much.
All right, tell us what it gave away.
Of these triangles that they kind of try to establish, well, who's she gonna pick? I mean, we saw, because Javin was shown in the previews, but Demila was, at least not outside of the of the pods, Demla was ever shown, but Javin was.
Or maybe he was at the little reunion thing that they have.
Right. They could have. I don't totally remember, but I specifically just remember Javin being in like one of the homes or apartments that they're at afterward.
Which meant that he made it. So if you
right
put two and two together,
and you never saw Demla in a setting like that, so then it pretty much told you that Katisha is picking
right
Javin.
So they gave that away.
Right. So
at the very
going on
beginning.
forward in the beginning, and I saw this triangle established, but I was like, oh well, she's got to pick Javin because I didn't see Demla in anywhere else. So there's really no, big suspense moment, especially, her, flipping the way she did. But I don't know. They really gave a lot of it away. I don't get why they show so much of like, especially too, who's like at the altar already. So you already know like, oh, Kieran's totally, getting matched up with somebody. Billy's getting matched up with
Right.
somebody.
And you know who makes it all the way to the altar. Sometimes they call it quits before they get to the altar.
Right. Yeah.
Well, we already put some definites up there.
Yeah.
Which is not fun. Like I'd like to find that out when we get there.
Like I think they showed all 5 people, at the end. You don't know who they matched with yet until you see that, oh, okay, they're talking to this person. It's got to be this person or whatever. But you pretty much already have an idea of who are already the 5 people that they're getting there. I don't know. I guess that would be, I feel like maybe that'd be more, if you had some of the other, a little more mystery to, who's making it and whatnot. But
well, the weird thing is, like, you see the giant preview before the first episode starts. Like, they play that right away. But then you don't know who anybody is when you're first watching the preview. So it's like you're not making those connections until, like, if you were to think a little bit more about it or go back and watch it after, like, the first episode or something. Then you can start picking up on people and recognizing who they are.
yeah. Yeah.
But the preview at the end of the 4th episode, it's like, okay, we already know some things that happen now, too.
Yeah. But even like with the first one, it's like, all right, I see, Kieran, this blonde-haired guy who's got,
Or Megan, the only redhead that we saw.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, it's pretty easy to point out, like, who, once they start showing them, but.
All right, so let's go into Javin and Katisha. So Katisha's from Scotland and he's from London. She's a nanny and makeup artist and he is a health and fitness coach. But he got a knee injury when he was playing football and now he can't play football again.
Yeah, so now he isn't sitting on the sidelines. But theirs was, it kind of already said, right? He was more reserved. He really didn't. He kind of went into this kind of more, I don't know, almost more laid back with things. Wasn't really
she feels
actively
like he's
looking
holding
for things.
something back from her, which is having her skeptical from the start. But they do bond over little things like family, how many kids they want. And then she starts telling him, I do have another connection, and he's making some pretty grand gestures towards me. And he says, I'm not like that. I'm more slower paced. I didn't realize we had to do things like that here in the pods. So I think he really gets the message here. He's like, huh.
Yeah. Yeah, because then the following one, he finally opens up, and then, she had already made the promise to Demla,
which is so sad. Wait, so let's go into Demla a little bit. So he's Nigerian, and we learn he was best friends with his grandma who passed away. And so they connect about family too. But I think he goes into more depth about his family. And she opens up more to him. So he talks about his loving home. She says she's close to her grandmother too. He already got her flowers and he wrote her a poem. And he's opening up a whole lot to her. And it sounds like she's leaning towards him now. And then she says, I pick you. I pick you because you've gifted me things and you've opened up so much to me and you're so nice. And so I'm just deciding this now. But then she goes back to Javin after she tells Demla that she's picked him. And he has a whole spread waiting for her and a bunch of beautiful flowers. And he says, it's my time here. I'm trying to lock this in. I'm trying to step up for you. I know this is important. And he says he feels very strongly for her. But she tells him, I went with my other connection. And he says, my heart is broken now. And she starts crying. But he says, while you're crying, let me read out my notes that I wrote down for you in my notebook. And he reads out all these meaningful things that he thought about her. And he says, he really feels like she's the one. And now she's confused and she wants to continue and stay and talk to him.
I almost don't know if this felt when he realized that she picked the other person, if then it became this competition for him to, oh, well, let me really lean into this and try to make her change her mind. Because it is like kind of when he definitely opens up more. I don't know. I guess he kind of maybe, since he had already written this stuff, kind of planned on this day to open up more. But I don't know. It almost felt a little like turned into competition mode of like, oh,
Well,
I'm
yeah.
not going to lose this.
Would you want to
connection.
lose if you felt like this was your connection and all of a sudden you hear like, oh no, this other man is, gifting her things and really showing her how much she means to him. Like, I better hurry up and step my game up or I could lose the love of my life forever. So then I think he panicked.
Well, I don't know if it was like the love of his life. I don't know if it was more.
I gotta hurry up and stay on this TV show.
Yeah, I mean, there was there was love. It's not always all for TV, but I don't know if there was like a little bit of that to maybe stay on. I don't know.
Okay, that's sad. I hope that really wasn't why.
Well, no, I mean, there was more than that. It wasn't purely that. I mean, I do think there's a connection. They have something, but Demolish just felt so much more genuine about being with her. I don't know.
But the next date, Javin went in with Katisha, and he says he went in ready to end it with her after their last conversation. And he said he does like her. And she said she'd be willing to get down and propose to him now because she thought things over. And she feels most strongly connected to him. And she appreciated his big movements that he made in their relationship. And now he knows that she's committed to him. And then instead of just ending things, he proposes to her and she says yes at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. This definitely was like a left field decision. But I guess it was just kind of, I think she always leaned more towards Javen. She just wanted the affirmation from him that, he was serious about this. And then he finally gave it to her. And then
maybe Demolo was more like a friend.
Yeah, I think she was almost just holding on to that more
romantic
because it was something. And I don't know. She clearly was more into Javen anyway, so they probably wouldn't have worked out. I mean, Demolo was much more into her clearly than she was into him.
Yeah. So the last thing Demolo heard was, she picked him. So then she meets up with him again, but this time to break up with Demolo. And then he's very upset and asks why and says, you were so sure about me last time. And she says, we get along, but the romantic connection wasn't always there for me. And he said, wow, I was ready to propose to you today. And I feel blindsided. And then the boys expected him to come in engaged in the men's quarters. And Dem was like devastated. And he's like, no. And they're like, like egging it on because they think he's just kidding.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, it really was tragic. We did not get engaged. She changed her mind overnight.
Yeah.
And this was really sad. I felt terrible for him.
I think especially because, this really was like a left field blow for him because it really was a blindsided thing. But I guess, too, that's almost why the guys, even after he said no the first time, kind of thought he was joking because, I'm sure he kind of told him, right, like, this is in the bag. This is going to happen. And no, it didn't. But then, yeah, everyone kind of, then, I don't know, they were almost like all shocked as well that it didn't happen. So
yeah, because they're just as shocked as Demel getting the news that he's broken up with, too. So
yeah,
that was sad. But when Javin gets back from his meeting, after he's all of a sudden engaged, all the men are like, wow. And then Demela Explain what Demila did.
Yeah, I mean, this like, I mean, this just confirmed that he was, a great guy or whatever. But he, well, I kind of thought that they were gonna have, he even sat by Javan, but then he's like, oh well, you've gotten engaged, so let's celebrate you and everything. So I don't know. I mean, that really just put like the icing on the cake of that he was willing to, celebrate this, competitor, if you will.
I mean, he had
that-
glassy eyes because he looked so sad, but he was like putting all of his feelings aside
Yeah, to celebrate this guy.
to
who
celebrate
got an
his
engagement.
friend
So,
who got engaged. So
yeah.
that was
I
to
don't
his
know if it
woman.
was his friend, but
his woman, his
yeah.
previous.
But yeah, regardless, to put his own aside to celebrate Javan was, I don't think many people would do that. So
Justice for Demila.
yeah, no, I mean he was great. It'd be nice to see more of him.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to see more of him when everyone unites, hopefully.
Yeah, I guess the mixer will have something there.
Yeah, I hope we get to see more focus on him, though. But Javin and Katisha then meet in person, and he's wearing capris and Nikes.
Yeah, I don't know if they're actually capris or not, but
They were ankle.
the legs were just
length.
yeah, the leg length was just very short for trousers.
Trousers. That's his English way of saying pants.
Okay. It's a word. It's the proper word. It's better than pants.
Yes. So they're both very nervous. They're probably the two most nervous people in the reveal process. And he says to her, "You have a big smile." And she says, "Yeah, sorry."
Yeah, this one was definitely the least natural out of all of them. It just felt like there's a lot of spaces where they didn't know what to say. So it was a lot of the repeating of, oh, you look great, or, wow, this is a crazy experience or something. Even he said like, wow, this is really strange. And he's like, oh, in a good way, right? Like even, I don't know, like there just was not
It's awkward.
good words, being exchanged. It just didn't feel very natural between them. Which is why I don't know. I
They
definitely
still
feel.
seem to like each other, though.
Yeah, maybe it's just purely a nervous thing where you just don't know what to.
I think it's just nerves because he said, "You look good. You look better than me."
But yeah, well, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see. But I just don't. I don't ever feel a great feeling about them. I feel like they're very. They're not as strong as some of the others.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Will she regret her decision?
Yeah.
So moving on to Jed and Bardha, our last couple here. So Jed speaks Arabic and she is Albanian, and they bond off the bat. And her family migrated to the UK during a war, and they didn't speak English and had to learn it. And she started working at age 13. So a lot of young workers here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he says he can't live without family. It's so important to him. And then they talk about baby names. And she says, "I really like the name Sunday." And he says, "Can we also have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday and Saturday?"
Yeah. What a good ordering for your naming.
Yes. In order. That's what you name them.
Yeah.
And then she made him a word search and wrote "falling in love" on the word search. And he said, "I'm just crazy about you and I'm falling in love with you." And then he proposes to her. She says yes. And then they meet each other and they like each other.
I thought the word search was pretty clever for like a gift idea. I thought that was actually pretty cool and unique and definitely not.
And like, look, what a surprise. Falling in love.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was a great, definitely something more fun and a way to, express yourself. So
Yeah, I like that. That was crafty. But they seem to be a good couple. But I don't think they got it as much airtime as the others. They were kind of thrown in there like at the end.
yeah, I
But-
mean, I don't think they had much. They kind of just clicked and kind of went through, and
And that was it.
there really wasn't much disagreement or drama with anything. So I don't think they had much to go off of with them. But no, I think they're very strong. I mean, I think they bonded well. He actually had a dress shirt with his suit, so
Points for him.
that was a plus. But
Yeah. That's great.
but no, I mean, I think they've meshed very well. There's not a lot to them yet, but I don't think they'll have. They're definitely one of the strongest.
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll see a whole lot more, like a more of a focus on their relationship going forward.
Probably because they're gonna throw this whole Cal. Cal's gonna try to take Barda or something.
Oh yeah, Cal.
But that's how they're gonna get, I think, more focused. Where it's not gonna be much about them. It's gonna be more about that drama probably than
Sorover.
their own stuff.
All right, so the big trip for these 5 couples is they're at Cyprus, the island of love.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I gotta
Gorgeous
say their
place.
place is definitely that's a much cooler trip, I feel like, than the US going to Mexico constantly.
Yeah. I'd love to go there. It looks fantastic.
Yeah. Even the setup looks maybe not. I don't know.
Well, they all have their private, gorgeous pools outside of their hotel room.
Yeah, I can't remember now if they did. Maybe they only had balconies. I can't remember if they had their own. I think they might have had their own pools, but
They did.
I don't know. The views I feel like probably look a little bit nicer from Cyprus, but
This was really cool. So they all start to get to know each other a little bit, and then they have like a little event where all the couples get to meet each other. And this is where Cal says that Barda would have been his type out in the real world. And that drama ensues. And then
which this probably felt like you were saying, a very probed, producer question.
yeah, they were probably like, if you had to pick one person here that would have been your typical type out in the real world, who would it have been?
Yeah.
And then he was probably like, oh, like gave a generic answer, like maybe someone with blonde hair. And they're like, okay, we have 2 people on the staff that have blonde hair. Which one? And then he's probably forced to say it. It probably was not something that came naturally. I think they're just fishing for something.
Yeah, I can't imagine he would have just willy-nilly said, oh, she looks just like what I would have gone for.
Yeah. So that was funny. But I think Sorover's just going to like really take that to heart.
Yeah.
And this is where she talks to Ashley about it. And Ashley encourages her, just let your guard down, be open, share your struggles with him about being a little insecure. So maybe Ashley was also probed to say, encourage her to talk about it.
Yeah.
Be
yeah,
there
that's
for her
very-
as a
I mean,
friend.
she could have.
Is anything real anymore? I don't know.
Yeah. Everything's very guided, I feel like.
Yes. So we learn too that the only couple that talks about being intimate with each other is Katisha and Javin. But they're also the only couple that has not said I love you to each other yet.
Which that really felt like to me that I don't know. I don't think they're super serious about this. I think it's just more of a little fun fling kind of thing for them. So I don't think they're very that strong. But I think there are a couple more of them mentioned. They didn't directly say like the intimacy, but I think there was like some of them that the others like kind of hinted towards it. Like I think Kieran and Megan did.
Yeah, and then when Kieran was questioned, he says, oh, there was just loads of cuddling and kissing.
Right. And then Sal.
Sal.
I was saying Sal. Cal kind of in that discussion with the guys, he kind of floated the same thing.
Right. They're like making jokes, but no one's straight out coming and saying it. Except
I feel
for
like they
Javin.
could have probably had gone that far. I think they probably did. I think the only ones probably who didn't would have been Billy and Ashley. And then
No, maybe not Sorover and
I don't know. Cal seemed pretty insistent on it. I don't know. Just that conversation, I felt like kind of like Billy didn't really tap into it that whole much. because I feel like they didn't. Because
But-
it felt like this awkward thing almost where they almost were like having to do it or like almost one up each other or anything, but he really wasn't. I mean, he was laughing, but he really wasn't like partaking in it the way that Kieran and Cal were
What about
conversing.
Jed? We didn't hear from him.
Yeah, I was thinking there's somebody else. They didn't mention anything. So
Yeah, so some couples are taking it slow. Some couples are leaving you guessing. And then Javin, I think, was like pestered by the producers to keep talking and talking about it. And then like during an interview, he was like, well, we didn't get any sleep last night, if you know what I mean.
yeah, I think Jed and Billy and those two were the only ones who probably did it. I think they're taking it much more slow. I think they're a lot more serious about this than the others. I think the others are just kind of having fun. So
We'll see.
Yeah.
It becomes a point of conversation about how Katisha has not told Javin that she loves him yet with the women. She discusses this, and then they all say, oh. First they're like really shocked, and then they say, well, that should come with time, right?
yeah, I mean they're like stunned that they haven't said it yet, but I think that's respectable that they haven't. I don't know if they haven't said that yet. But
Yeah.
they're like really making a big deal.
But you also said they might not be serious about each other, so maybe that's why they haven't.
Yeah, I mean, I think that could definitely be part of it.
So let's talk about Cal really quick. I wrote that he was wearing very short shorts. And Cal talks to Katisha about Demila. Do you think he was put up to that conversation?
I think there was, yeah, because there was that. Javin also brought it up, or they did the morning. That almost felt like producer encouraged to me. I wonder if
You're the one who said Cal was wearing such short shorts. That's why I put this note. in here.
yeah, I mean, I just made an observation about it, but that was it. I think Cal must have had a pretty close relationship with Demila or something. Like, I think they must have been pretty close friends during the whole
Oh,
thing.
so maybe that's
which
why.
is how the producers, because Cal even mentioned it to Sarova, their morning up or whatever when they were at the pool together. He mentioned it to her about how he kind of disapproved of how Katisha handled the whole thing with that.
Yeah, because he tells Katisha, like, Demila was so sure about you. Like, what could have happened? Why'd you do this? Why'd you do this? And then she's like, oh, I just had to do what's best for me, and I didn't feel as romantically connected. Like, why does she have to explain herself to Cal, though?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really get why he's pushing it. That's why I don't know if this was almost either
Forced.
he really is or if it's just more of a producer thing. It almost feels like they're like the whole Mason, I forget Alex, and where like Alex, once Alex was just badgering Madison on how she didn't, properly handle things.
Yeah.
Like this almost feels like that. Cal's just coming across to Katisha like, why did
And
you just
what
handle
good
this
does
better?
that do? Just drop it at this point. Like, it didn't work out, so let's move forward.
Yeah. That's why I don't know if this is a really organic thing, or maybe it is, or if it's more of a point, contingency point that producers want this brought up more,
Right.
and discussed more. But
So that was really all we saw so far. There were only like a few minutes of all the couples together, but we did see a preview for what's coming up. And everybody better strap in because there's tons of drama coming up. We see more talk about Demila, your guy, your favorite. We see Katisha meeting him in person, which should be interesting. We see a conflict with Ashley's dad. We see Bardha wants to lead more, and her and Jed get into a squabble. We see Sarova drama clashing with her mom, asking is she really ready for this, indicating maybe there's some issues there. And Kieran meets his other person. Drama. Ooh, did he miss out?
well, yeah, there's him and Sophie, and then it's like them, but it's probably like where she just walked through the door,
Right.
and they're having a little bit of a talk, and then they have like,
And that's it.
Megan's scowling at them, but that's probably just edited somewhere
Right.
else.
And one of my favorite things, Anu and Patrick unite, and Anu sings, "You're a liar" to Patrick.
Yeah.
I wrote that she thinks you're a liar to the spleen guy, aka Patrick. And then there's a bunch of drama and crying at the altar. That's it.
I mean, it does kind of look like there's quite a bit of the relationships failing right at the altar. I mean, we at least see 3 of them at the altar. We've seen Kieran, Billy, and Cal all at the altar.
Yes.
They're people, so that's already, 3 out of the 2. I think Javan and Katisha probably don't even make it.
And then we didn't see Bardha.
And then Jed and Barda are the only ones who maybe something ends up happening with them. I mean, they bring up, I don't know, that little preview does kind of highlight a pretty big issue. So maybe there's something. We haven't really seen anything yet, but maybe that is something during the next part of it that ends up becoming a stake between them. But
yeah,
I guess we'll see.
We'll see.
But yeah, I would at least. I think if Julian and Katisha didn't see that, they're not making it to the altar.
I wonder if, since she was so split in her decision initially, like if she really does start thinking about Demla again.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
The only other thing they made was Cal at the altar. They show him like ripping up something. I don't know if they're trying.
I think that's something like a tradition thing or something. I don't know.
That, or it's like, I wrote something, but then I realized I just want to speak from the heart or something.
Right.
They're making it look like he's,
They made it look bad, but it didn't look bad really when you.
So that almost feels like maybe, it's
something nice,
okay.
probably.
Right. I almost feel like that's what they're doing with the editing there, so that they'll probably actually make it.
Like, there's no way he would be such a jerk and say, you know what, this marriage is not happening, and just rip up, like, shred their vows.
Yeah. I would be interested to see how that is, but it does feel like that's how they're.
Yeah,
I
that
want
was
you to think it's really bad, but
the way they cut that
not.
together really fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they threw it in the middle of like people screaming at each other at the altar, or crying and stuff. So
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. So that was our recap on episodes 1 through 4, and we look forward to our next batch of episodes and recapping those.
Yeah, we will wait to unfold what happens.
No more spleen guy. Will he come on next time? Is there a reunion next time, or do you think that's weeks away?
Don't they usually? I thought it was like the next is some of that's vacation, and then they go back to like the apartments and see how that goes. And then it's like the week after that where they do the mixer.
We're excited to see him again.
Yeah. Are we? Or are we?
Is your spleen excited for you? What's your spleen telling you right now?
It's telling me.
No. My spleen is silent.
Yes.
Which means no.
Yeah.
Well, thank you and your spleen for joining us for yet another episode of A Fine Podcast.
Yes, we hope you like it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and check us out on our social medias if you haven't already.
Yes, and leave us a comment. What did you think of episodes 1 through 4 so far?
Yeah, let us know how the spleen is and how all these relationships are.
How's your spleen doing?
It's not doing well.
Write your spleen health down in the comments below. Bye.
Ciao.